Hello and welcome to Talent Innovator. I am Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator, and this is the Now Page Vlog 11.
Dustin Miller, PolyInnovator.
And so I just wanted to make this video real quick because sure, this has been a constant habit of mine for about a year now, but it's still one of those things that's still interesting to make. Each time I make one of these videos, it just feels different, and I don't know how to explain that versus just literally saying that in that way. It's been a year since I started doing interviews, and I remember that last year I actually stopped doing the Omni content around the time I started doing interviews, and ever since then I've been wanting to bring it back. Don't know why I haven't, don't really know why it's been so hard. Maybe it's because this first mini-series that I've been trying to do about the multidisciplinary spectrum seemed a little bit too much of a challenge or insurmountable. I don't know why. It's supposed to be really easy, that's why I made it that series. And then on top of that too, the interviews. I can't explain to you why I've been procrastinating so much because I'm so excited about them. I love each and every guest that's come on, and it's making awesome. Like right now, the guest that I'm trying to get out recorded back in December. And that seems like only a couple months ago, but it's 6 months ago. And everyone's been so patient. I've only had a couple complaints, and even then, it was kind of this out of the whack kind of situation. And this past month, I was super busy with family and work. I started a new role where I was doing administration work, where timesheets and ordering stuff for the concession stand. And it's been great. I've been loving doing it, but it is very stressful. If I mess up, it's a big deal. And so I think my energy and focus has just been going to that. And because of that, I just haven't had enough bandwidth for when I come home, which to me seems like it shouldn't be that way. I should have enough bandwidth no matter what. But after last month, where I got 2 of my shots, and then on top of that too, the seasonal allergies came in, and the whole month I just felt groggy. Probably the weather too. I am very susceptible to the weather. That's why wintertime is always really hard on me, because I can't deal with that gray weather. Just can't, no matter what I do. Positive energy tea, meditation, exercise, none of it helps until I just get past that rainy day. And April's really bad about that. So I'm wondering if that was just a fluky month and it took me a while to get out of it. And really, everyone in this case since quarantine has had issues when it comes to like exercise. Like we had to adapt and change. And I'm not using that as an excuse because I went back to exercising a couple weeks after quarantine started. And so it wasn't really that big of a deal for me when it came to not having a gym. But for some reason, it took me a while to get back into the groove of things. And I think that happens for everybody. Everybody took a while to get back into the groove of things. And just now this year, I'm finally getting back to some of my old strength levels that I was last year. I was able to curl 90 pounds 8 times, and then 80 pounds a few times, and 70 pounds a few times after that. And getting back up to that real deep strength situation again. And I mentioned this because all of last month and the month before, I struggled at doing my habits, including exercise. But I also struggled at doing other habits like reading or meditating or walking or just taking care of myself, letting myself sleep in every once in a while or something like that. And I let myself get away with playing video games too much or something like that. But it's weird. I was talking to Lena Agaragimova, and she was talking to me about how sometimes when you try to relax and you get stressed out, like, hey, I'm relaxing instead of doing work, it doesn't work. And if you try to work too much and you don't relax, you're not imbalanced. But if you try to relax and you have to work, it's just constantly back and forth, and you're not letting yourself relax because you're worried about working, and you can't work because you want to relax. And that's kind of the state I was in. I was constantly battling myself, and I would make myself feel bad if I went and did something relaxing like playing a video game. I played one of the series that I grew up with, Mega Man Legends, as a way to kind of give myself an ease, a break. And now I've been playing Pokemon on my phone and trying to just relax for a little bit. And it's interesting because that does help me relax. It does help me decompress and help me get past the day. But in my head, it's like I should be working on an interview. Now, obviously, I'm going to get these interviews out. I promise that. I keep my promises. No matter how long it takes, I'll get them out. And that's also the same mentality I've had with my spriting. And so I'm going to put off to the side the interviews and the Omni content because I talk about that every time. So I want to focus more on some other things right now, some other exciting things that I've been doing, and hopefully that will help me get back on the groove of things as well. Part of what inspired a lot of my content creation back in like 2011, 2012 when I started blogging and creating posts and like pictures was the idea of spriting. Spriting is the creation of two-dimensional characters for video games. Like if you play those old Mario games, that little sprite that goes across the screen. Or in this case, Pokemon was something that really enamored me, where I would work on the little 2D characters and create my own or edit the ones that Nintendo made and that kind of thing. It taught me how to understand color and how to manipulate shading and how to make sprites look better. And because of that, I started collecting sprites and I started working around different kinds of big collections. And so I wanted to revamp the entirety of Nintendo's catalog of sprites and Pokemon. And so I was like, okay, let's do this. And over the years, Project Creep has definitely made it worse, where new generations will come out, or perhaps along the lines of new sprites, or like interesting sprites, or I'd go back and add in old sprites that I previously ignored. Or there was a leak for one of the second generation games where they released a whole bunch of beta sprites that no one knew about before. It's like, I'm going to add those to that list for sure. And it's not stealing anything like that, because all I'm doing is creative freedom, just sharing my interests with others. And that's what really got me started on productivity and getting things done, because I would work on it daily and just go on a computer and start editing those sprites, or more specifically, more often than not, the maps. I would do world maps for Zelda and Pokemon and spent a lot of time deep into that. And that's what really got me excited. I was able to like get myself going for it. It was just a hobby. And that's why I've kept it separate from PolyInnovator for so long, because I wanted to keep it just a hobby and leave it not as work as like maybe the interviews or Omni content can be perceived as. However, by doing this hobby, it gets me to be creative. It gets me to be focused. It gets me to be doing something every day. And by doing so, that can help me do other stuff like PolyInnovator more every day. And so it's interesting to think about how whenever I had a quick wardrobe change, it's a different time of day, so I had to take that call and end up doing something before I could finish this. And so whenever you get to that point of doing those habits consistently and actually really building up the compound interest of your habits, of your systems, that kind of thing, it starts to seep into other areas of your life. So I've talked about eduvement, I guess you could say, the poly-innovation system, in many different shows, on many of my different shows even. And the idea behind a lot of it is to get up the cycle. And so you can kind of think of it like a funnel, a two-way funnel. You have the big funnel down this way and another funnel going bigger down this way. So it's like an hourglass shape in a way. And whenever you are doing some kind of action, basically any action in your life, you are putting points towards what kind of person you want to be and what kind of person do you think you are. And this is me kind of paraphrasing from James Clear, who he's paraphrasing from some study, but regardless, it's the idea of compound interest becomes who you are. Like who you are a year ago is the accumulation of all the actions and habits you have taken. And so I want to be the person, I aim to be the person who is putting out content on a regular, who is someone people can look forward to doing interviews with and expect their episode to come out. I hate it when people don't get the episodes out. And I understand if some people can't get it out on time. I'm not worried about that. But people actually don't put it out at all. I had one show that literally just said, oh yeah, we can't use it this season. We don't know when we'll use it, but thanks for recording with us and basically wasting your time. And that only really happened like once, but it still sucked. It still was like, what the hell? Why did I waste my time? But I promise to get all these episodes out. I want to be that person that does that. And so that's why last year I did 36, 40 episodes in a row. And I might have to do that again here soon too if I have to. But for the most part, what I'm saying is that I want to go up that funnel and get built back up. Because I feel like I'm down here, I need to be up here. Eventually I'll be up here. And so that's all I really wanted to share with you all today. So thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode. And go check out the blog post that's paired up with this. Most of the time, it's usually pretty different. And on top of that, too, go check out the blog. I have a couple hundred blog posts. I have 160-something videos on the YouTube channel. And I have 160 polycast on the audio platforms. So please, go check them all out.